tapon. Abama janta pola tapon. Wutinu guaba mwane. Emakwa moto nzo we na Christmas. Ibe mo na abalo serious ana. Aba hono boss. Aba siyana. Mwa no nwe mo 911 no kanso we na ba. 911 no kanso we na ba. Ozo bomba talo no no irata ko. E ma kwa ife di me gbe irata ko. Ozo bomba talo no no. Baba mo we ti mo ewu inata ko. Ano be inata ba ko. Eje me ga na e ba bu ba Christmas. Ebanka no na ji nge mo nwa. Nwanne m tọla atọ wee bụrụ akpara isi wee nata. Wee bụrụ akpara isi wee nata. Asị ya, nwa m ịnatagonu. Ezigbo nwa ịnatagonu. Na, ezigbo nwa ịnatagonu. Maazị ide oji malụ na Krismas chenji na-enye nsogbu. Chenji ọfụma. Ọ bụrụ na ijiri ego wee nataba ụlọ, na bụrọda shọtụ eziokwu na bụrọda shọtụ go mana ọ bụrụ na iji ego wee nataba ụlọ, na bụrọda tọpụ eziokwu na bụrọda tọpụ ịnwazi anwa bụrụ moto n'aka n'udo ịmalụ na bụrọda nwere lebụlụ ịmalụ na bụrọda nwere lebụlụ ọ na-eweta akaba isi nke ụtụtụ ngwangwanụ abịakwalụ ya aka n'ụzọ koi 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 abịakwalụ ya aka n'ụzọ koi 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 brọda ị ga-asa mmiri akụ ọ bụ mmiri eyi ka ị ga-asa ọ bụ mmiri eyi ka ị ga-asa brọda ọ na-eweta akaba 8 nke ụtụtụ abịakwalụ ya aka ọzọ koi 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 nwanne na ọdịkwa egwu brọda ị ga-aṅụ tii ngwangwanụ ka ọ bụ akamụ ka ị ga-aṅụ brọda ma ọ bụ akamụ ka ị ga-aṅụ brọda ka mmasị ekwe dị n'iru erikwe n'ofe afọ ma ọ bịa anyị siri n'ụgbo ọkwa kemgbe last week ka o si n'ofe a ịma na ọkwa kemgbe last week ka o si n'ofe a brọda ka mma ga-ejekwa akọkọ ma ọ isi eligokwa ọfọ na ọ na-eme ma ọ mịa anya brọda erikwe n'ofe a dị na friji ọka ofe ọgbọ na ka mma mmede ala ka ndị ote ga-esi ofe a na-atọzi oke ọma ọ bụrụ maka gịnị ọgwa maka na o ji ego ọgwa maka na eji ego ọgwa oji ego nwe mba ọkwa ịma na oji ego nwe mba brọda biko echefukwa na school fees brọda ịmụ obere oge ijerie ṅụọ je tapịa ọ na-eje nwugbuo brọda biko ebe school fees ndị boys na-ego iji bata agbadago brọda ama m ịka mana ọ bụrụ onye na-ejiri ego ọ bụrụ onye na-ejiri ego ọ na-eweta aka by 5 nke ụtụtụ abịasuolu ya aka n'ụzọ abịasuolu ya aka n'ụzọ ewu John onye kaikai anụ ọbịa binye walụ m nkụwo onye iberibe binye walụ m nkụwo atụrụ awụsa binye walụ m nkụ n'ihi na Abuja nọ na Lagos ozu ị na-ebe afọ emere ụmụ nwaanyị aka mpụ ewu ị na-ebe afọ emere ụmụ nwaanyị aka mpụ onye iberibe binye walụ m nkụwo ndị ibe ala binye walụ m nkụwo.
All right, welcome back to my channel. We are back again on a new video reaction. This is a live broadcast. Please make sure you like the video. Want to join us? hit the like button and share it to many platforms of your choice. We are here again to do the needful. Okay? And we are not gonna delay anymore. We have spent 5 minutes, trying to wait for you to receive the notification and join us. And we can see some people on the comment section already. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. I can see Excellence Wachuku. I see your comment. Machibose, I see you. Okay, and we have Anthony Emeka and Okwudere. Okwudere, I see you. Who again? Obioha. Obioha Chukwudi. I hope I pronounced it very well because the way the YT is changing name these days, because I can see everything to one word. Say God bless you, my brother. God bless you too. So like the video and share it on many platforms of your choice. We are here again to go through this. It's a very funny, but it's the truth. No money, no respect. That is it. Kinsley, I see you. Yeah, those guys they're doing that. I love the way the lyrics of that song is very, very nice. Mr. Kai, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you, Kinsley. I see you. So I would like to start with this very good news, just to clear on what we have talked about before. When you pay attention here, you can see this post from United States of Biafra, and this is something that you have been saying, and some people are somewhere pushing wrong narrative, trying to make it look like Biafrans are stupid, that Biafra was declared on 2nd of December. I want us to go through it together, because let us know what Wikipedia said about it, okay? So that so that you understand the truth without missing word. Make sure you like the video, please, because I don't want us to spend hours here without having much like that is needed. So once you join us, make sure you like the video. So this is a United States of Biafra. They made this post. Let me take down this comment on the screen so that you can follow it very, very, very well. Now, they said affirmation of the Biafran self-referendum. Please confirm to me if you can read it from your end. Should I just expand it more? Is it okay? The size, is it okay? Should I just add it? I think it's okay now. I think the size is okay. Maybe I will remove my picture. I'm not seeing your comments. Confirm to me. Is it okay? I believe from my end, I think it should be okay to you as well. It should be okay. Okay. United States of Biafra. Okay, that is the headline. Affirmation of the Biafran self-referendum result, where over 50 million Biafrans voted by the United States of Biafra citizens/delegates. Biafran referendum Wikipedia. That's Wikipedia. So when you click here, before I click here, let us continue. Keep an eyes on Biafran self-referendum. Okay, that is Orbit International News before declaration. We know when PM talked about this international news platform, talking about Biafran declaration. Then here, Biafran declares independence, a renewed quest for freedom. AIE organized. That's another link for clarity. Independence month, which is this month of November. The day is 29th of November 2024. That was when Biafra was declared, and we are a few days to 1 year, a kind of 1 year old of that event. And Biafrans are, USB government are doing all they can to solidify that event. Now, when you come here, you see this. Sorry about it. Just a moment. I mistakenly click on something else, and it's not going crazy. So just a moment. Let me connect it back. Just a moment. Let me connect it back. Please make sure keep your comment coming. We are not going anywhere. We are still here. All right. Keep your comment coming. Let me fix it properly before we move forward. That is one thing with sharing something, because once you click on anything, because zooming is simply for you to see it, not because I can do it without zooming it, but for you to see it and have a very clear picture. So, but while doing that, if you click anyhow, you see anyhow. That's just what happened. Now we are back again from that mess. We are back again to normality. Just a moment. Okay, so let's watch this.
And also, Germany, take also picture with COS. Please, thank you. Every family will go also take picture outside right now after this event. Thank you. And after the lunch tomorrow. Please, outside for the pictures, okay? And also, Germany, take also picture with COS. Please, thank you. Every family will go also take picture outside right now after this event. Thank you.
Okay, one thing what I want to. This is not the reason why we are here tonight, and I want to. Some of you it's the afternoon, some of you is morning, so it depends on your time zone. And I want to make it clear to you that one of the reasons why we are talking about this thing is simply because many people don't know what happened after declaration or even during that time. Most of the people, like this lady that is, you can see that keep her hair here, is Professor Sh0cking, right? And the one that is talking, I don't know, but I doubt that she's still with the USB government. I don't know. But did you hear what the announcement that any good people should wait outside because they want to take a picture with US? That is where most of these delegates were running around US taking picture, because then they understand that she is the one leading. Everybody is in agreement. But before this time, Ogenkere have not spread his virus in the minds of genuine Biafran, that some of them that are weak-minded, they started falling into the trap of Ogenkere just to push that wrong narrative that US is just, a nobody, that in fact, she don't even have the mandate, nothing whatsoever. But during the declaration, they're all running around taking picture with her, understanding her role. But the moment they begin to dish out lies and all that, they started having, they started losing their minds. Do you understand that? And we are going to move to something else, because I just want you to understand. Remember that most of them here talking about, oh, we are going to take picture with US and everything. The happiness and the joy, the togetherness and everything was so superb. All right? But Ogenkere used that nonsense mind to destroy everything. He destroyed everything, and those who allow them, who may not, some of them that don't have their minds of their own, they started, joining these evil people to form what I don't know. Today they are somehow digging another hole, okay, very close to the one that US digged, waiting for what I don't know. You want to be a leader, but you don't have what it takes to be a leader. You want to lead, but you don't have voice to lead. You don't have that synergy. What kind of leader are you? Now, let's move to the major issue that brought me to even react on this. When you click, I hope you are still seeing the screen, right? This is a Wikipedia. Wikipedia says something that I want us to go through. Now, click on it. Now, when you click on it, it will open like this. Okay, I think I have the two windows here. Let me close one. So when you click on it, you have something like this. Okay, now this is a Wikipedia. Now it said Biafran referendum. Let me see. Let me just. Oh, it's still not. It's still not all that big. It's not all that big. It's not all that big. Please. Why is everything is just stand still? I can see what is well. Please, is this remaining normal to your end? Because the view is the same without adding, without adjusting. The comment, no comment is very quiet. I hope you guys are still watching. Okay, let me continue. Let me assume that you are just. Let me just continue because this is 16 minutes of the program. Now, when you hear self-referendum, some of us think that the whole thing started with Biafra and end with Biafra. No, a lot of people are taking note of what happened and what Biafra is up to. Participant in 2015 International Science. Okay, this one is different. Biafran referendum from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. The Biafran referendum, otherwise known as Biafran self-referendum, was a self-determination. What is this one? Known as it was a self-determination pool organized and conducted by the Biafran Republic government in exile to determine the declaration of the restoration of Biafra, a partial recognized state in West Africa that declared independence from Nigeria and existed from 1967 until 1970, following the conclusion of the referendum on 28 November 2024. The restoration of Biafra was declared on 29 November 2024 with its capital in Ebube. You get the point? Background. So let me just read a little bit before we continue, before we move forward. I just want to emphasize on the date of declaration according to Wikipedia. They carried it. It is well registered and well solidified with Wikipedia. Now here you see, Biafra was a nation that declared independence from Nigeria in 1967 under the leadership of then Eastern Region's military governor Chukwuemeka Odumegwu. Shortly after the declaration of the independence, the Nigerian Civil War ensured as the Nigerian government sought to reclaim the territory of Biafra, culminating in victory for Nigerian forces in 1970. In May 2023, separatist Simon Ekpa wrote to Finland's former president Sully, whatever, and the other one, Trajan. These people later turn against him. I hate to hear the name, especially this one called Tagia, whatever, Trajan. I don't know. That one sounds like a virus, of a computer virus. You know, I don't know if they have repented or not, but the condition of PM and what is going on or what has happened is unbearable. So the issue of bringing this to you is for you to understand that the name or the date is well boldly written and secured here with Wikipedia. So the restoration of Biafra was declared on 29th November with its capital in Ebube. That is the news I want to bring to you. I want you to just keep your eyes on that. Very, very important. Now let's go to the main bone of contention. The reason why we're here. You are trying, Mazekai. Stay blessed. Thank you so much, Idevera. I see you. Okay, Zeke, greetings to you. Kingsley, I see you, all of you in the comment. You're welcome. Now, the reason why I decided to bring this now, this as was, at this early stage, because I don't want you to, anybody that's going to watch it later, to understand that fact that Biafra was declared on 29th. It is written here. This is not from Kai Report. This is what Wikipedian have it in their own database. I know some people would like to try their best not to go and remove it because that is how criminal people can be. But Biafrans are not sleeping though, so you can do your worst. Now, let's go back to normal settings. Now, let's talk about some of the things that many of us are not paying attention to. And what is that in? When you hear insecurity and what is happening in Nigeria, the people that surround it, like the business behind the scene, what people are doing to keep it going, what people are doing and the connection that is involved in those things. Let's watch this video from Channels TV.
All right, give me a moment, everyone. We've since been joined by Pastor Ladi Thompson, someone who is also passionate about the nation's security. He joins us virtually. It's good to see you, Mr. Mr. Thompson, rather. Give us an idea. You've been listening to the conversation. Thank you so much for your patience. You're looking good, though. Happy Democracy Day. Give us an understanding. Where do we go from here? You and I have had conversation about our national security, but we are looking for solutions. That's why we are here tonight. From your own point of view, where you are standing, what solutions do you see?
Thank you very much, Sh0cking. And of course, I must commend the work that has gone on. But you and I know we've had this conversation that spanned 20 years. And what we're talking about right now here, I must commend the CDS. Between the CDS and Governor Lawal, they've given quite a practical assessment of what is available locally. However, Nigeria is dealing with, as I mentioned 20 years ago, an opportunistic hydra. Some of the things we've discussed here tonight, some of them are primary threats. Some of them are existential threats to the country. Some are secondary. Some are tertiary. Now, if we want to know what to do, we must separate the primary threats from the secondary. So I will say to you there are 4 things that we mentioned 20 years ago. There are 4 things that we mentioned 20 years ago that have to be taken care of. And it's up to you to decide whether they have been taken care of. Number 1, we said the architecture of thought of the Nigerian government must be 20 steps ahead of that of the enemy. The primary enemy, the greatest existential threat we are facing, which is terrorism. And we know that when it comes to architecture of thought, the greatest problem of the Nigerian, and not just the Nigerian, the African world, is the mathematization of inquiry. Number 2, we talked about the military more than 20 years ago, and we said the days of Clausewitz is gone, Trinity of War. And I like the fact that the CDS spoke about asymmetrical warfare. He spoke about hybrid threats. Now, maybe he didn't mention media as a force expander. But I know that as of 18 years ago, we had mentioned that the military contribution to the solution of this problem is not more than about 36%. So it is good that it is now that the military has come out to explain to the public that this thing doesn't have a military solution as the sole solution alone. Then number 3, I think he was the one, somebody earlier on mentioned the ideology. Now, the ideology is something that has to be tackled, that has not yet been tackled. Now, why are we saying this? Every single one of us here lives on 2 levels of life. There's the external that the law can control, and then there's the internal. Now, since this new form of war came into being, everybody knows that it is the ideas inside the hearts that have been weaponized. And when you mix a philosophy with a religious system and you mix it together, you have something explosive in hand. And you must come up with an ideology that will be national that can checkmate that. Now, the fourth thing is the value system of the country. The greatest war going on all over the world right now is the war of narratives. Now, the value system is such that if an average citizen has nothing to lose, the value system is such that if in the engine room of the country, we still continue to allow ourselves to be ruled by partitions that were drawn up in 1914, then brother cannot be brother's keeper. And who is going to be ready to make sacrifices? I attended Ahmadu Bello University. I've moved and walked across Nigeria for God and country. It's a wonderful country, and I believe it will survive. But in closing, let me just say this. The most important factor that I think is missing in this conversation so far is what I call the glocal dimension. The fact that the threat that we're discussing here, the primary threat we're discussing here, as mentioned in snatches by the CDS, and somebody also who spoke about funding, we are facing a localized threat with a global dimension, global type of intelligence. Whether you're talking funding or you're talking opportunistic, now you are dealing with something that is so intelligent that the architecture of thought within Nigeria cannot handle it alone. Now, listen to me. We have had former presidents who had sicknesses and diseases who would have died if they did not reach out beyond the local degree of knowledge in the area of medicine when it came to the problems that they had. So there's nothing strange about the fact that this also has a global dimension to it that we must take care of if we are serious. Now, let me say this. If you remember Kaplan's book, 1994, The Coming Anarchy,
yeah.
If you ever looked at Henry Kissinger's World Order, published in 2014, and then mix it with Huntington's 1996 Clash of Civilizations, not to mention Francis Fukuyama, there is nothing surprising about what is going on in Nigeria today. Think tanks all over the world forestall this. They've looked at it. Most nations of the world have readjusted. It's a war of narratives. They've readjusted to match this thing, and we are still waiting for Nigeria to realize that it is a global problem. Global, not local, but global. It's a localized space of a hydra. And part of the challenge we have right now, you heard Governor Lawal speaking diplomatically. The reason why Governor Lawal has to be diplomatic is because we are losing the war of narratives. If the war of narratives is right and the average Nigerian is ready to die for his country, then see a single person. Look, don't forget that I've worked in this field for 20 years. We've been in contact with the poor boys in the army. I'm not talking about the people at the top heavy, but the young boys who are being sent out to die. When even people like us can already see that if you go out this way without equipping them with this and that, these boys are going to die. So I'm just saying that for this town hall to yield the proper food, we need to bring in what I call the glocal. That is the global inputs behind the localized form of the threats. You know, I thank God the CDS already spoke about hybrid threats. He spoke about asymmetrical warfare. He spoke about foreign funding. And I'm saying to you that what you're doing right now actually covers what we call the force expander, where media is a force expander. Let me remind us, as you are listening to this program, the whole of this nation is listening. The leaders who are the greatest enemies of the country are also listening. And I want to tell you something. There is no point if your enemies are already deploying artificial intelligence and they listen to us speaking at this level. In fact, after all we have said,
Sorry. All right, this man you are seeing here knows a lot about I think he's one of the security consultants, and he has a lot of information at his disposal. He understands what Nigerians are going through. He understands these people the tactics, the plans, and the motive of those who are causing insecurity. He understands how they compromise a
Even draw more
lot of things, to just propagate this insecurity that is circulating everywhere now. But one thing you need to understand also is that people that make up Nigeria today, many of them don't even know who is who. Like, what is the problem? What is the intention of those that are propagating this insecurity? We are here now watching people that are that the so-called bandits and all that. They are having selfie, going live on TikTok, joining people's life. Do you understand? Even I think was it 2 days ago, a Nigerian girl was begging bandits in her TikTok live, begging the guy to, please, can you leave Nigeria and leave us alone? According to the guy, according to the girl, the bandit said, your camera. The girl said, no, if I on my camera, will you leave Nigeria alone? They said yes. You don't understand the secret plan going on in the name of insecurity. One good thing is that Biafrans actually are more knowledgeable of what of all those things. People that are following Biafran activities and all that, they have more, their minds they have more prepared mind, and they are aware of what tomorrow may become. But some people are actually believing that it's just a news headline, it doesn't mean anything. Could you believe that I was talking to somebody earlier today, and the person doesn't even know anything about what is going on? The person is just like, what are you talking about? The kidnapping of people, school children, he don't know. He's in Nigeria. Because of what? He's just focused on in his business, buying and selling, without even paying attention to the news. And as it stands now, you are the one to read news. You cannot rely on your TV set. You have to. The best way to know the truth now is on social media with your phone. But not everybody have time. There's no time. To them, it's a waste of time. Reading this to them is a waste of time. But the truth of the matter is that it's not a waste of time. You have to do it, otherwise people will be the one to write your story, which you may not go down well with. Yeah, they're like, there's no way you'll be proud of that. That people are the ones sharing your news for you, telling people who you are and what you can do. It doesn't make any sense. So let us just be focused and always pay attention to what is happening around us. Now, the man is telling them what he felt about Nigerian insecurity and all that. Now, why we're playing this man film? Because 3 days ago, Adiola interviewed the same man, the new update, and we are gonna go through it. Here is the interview. Don't worry. I think. No. Okay.
Secret.
Let me take it back from the beginning.
In order to become the president of Nigeria, nobody can argue there were deals that went on. And what he did was to play them against each other, so that
Yeah,
he
you're
could get a seat in
alleging
the
that
presidency.
President Tinubu had a deal with the terrorists.
Excuse me, it is no longer a secret anywhere in the world.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this interview. This is a loaded interview, by the way, about the situation of things in Nigeria. I know many of us have been following the insecurity issue. Today, I will be interviewing someone who has been at the forefront of what is happening. If you don't know about the Macedonian Initiative, by the way, it's a faith-based, non-denominational NGO that has been responding to the systematic persecution of Christians in northern Nigeria since the 1990s. Now, the person that I want to interview today is not just a pastor. This man is a security consultant with more than 2 decades of experience, and he has also served as the Deputy Secretary General and the Director for Peace and Security at the African Union. Of course, he is the Global Overseer of Living Waters Unlimited Church and International Coordinator of the Macedonian Initiative. Please help me to welcome one of my fathers, Reverend Ladi Peter Thompson. Daddy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adiola. And let me say quickly that we want to thank God who has given you a platform and a voice to speak in matters of opinion molding and consensus building. I think it's a lofty platform, and I pray you continue to use it well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. First and foremost, a lot of people have been asking, what exactly are we dealing with? What is even going on?
I want to speak without a shred of doubt right now that what Nigeria is dealing with, it is both an ancient and a modern problem. And it is bigger, including religion, but bigger than religion. This is not an Usman Danfodio narrative. It's a more modern, more deadly, more intelligent Hydra, a supremacist agenda that was perfected by Osama bin Laden when he globalized the global resurgence of religious terrorism. This is not merely a Fulani problem.
Did you hear that? That is not. This is not just mere Fulani herdsmen, herders. That people behind the activities of these people, they are not just. They are not. This is not child play. People that matters, nation that matters, funding and financing all those things, making sure that they carry it out the way they want. That is no longer. It has grown beyond Osman Danfodo's agenda. But the truth is that the issue of Osman Danfodo, you cannot write it off, because that is the genesis of the whole thing. The mindset, the mindset of these people started from that. And now, countries that maybe you can guess, maybe if you don't mind, that most of them are, because most of them are involved. And when you watch some of the videos of these people in the bush, you see sometimes copter dropping something for them. Then you guess who you will see? People from Arabic world. Okay, for in that, like as a pilot, and dropping some things. They are buying equipment. But the question is, if Nigerian government is not involved in that, who is giving them access? Because Nigerian, even to import foreign rice, you have to struggle. But you see them using subscripted equipment that you cannot just cross the border without having a solid contact. That's why I don't believe that Nigerian state is not involved in that. Because how can you tell me that these bandits are moving with very strong armor tank, not one, not two, not three? Who is giving it to them? What is the, if you said they bought it, how did they bring it to Nigeria? Do you understand? So many questions, so many questions. Now let's hear from the man, and please give your ear so you understand what the man is saying.
Bigger than that. There are at least about 5-6 groups that we are reckoning with. It has a head in education. It has infiltrated our security defense systems. Over the years, it has infiltrated governance. It has infiltrated media.
Okay, so thank you so much, Daddy. But I feel like so far you have been speaking in parables. You are not naming. Okay, so you said 5 different heads. You need to put names. Also, you need to give the evidence of all these things that you are saying.
I told you it's a supremacist agenda.
This is Adora trying to examine herself, because this is a security issue. So she don't want to, get involved. Like or you interview some so person, the person use your platform to say so things, and you did not ask so question, you know, that kind of thing. Before you know it, that kind of what go for. So she's trying to ask the man, what you are saying, and is it verified? The man was like, you don't need to stress yourself. This is me talking. I know it all, and those ones you're afraid of, they know that I know. You get a point. So meaning that the man is not speaking, he's not guessing his words. Pay close attention.
That was designed to use Islam as a cover. That's why for the first 15, 16 years, it was targeted only at Christians first. I told publicly that in the later years, towards the end, when they're about to strike Nigeria completely, they will start killing Muslims as well. So I said that about 10 years ago. You are dealing with something that is global, but has a local face.
Wow.
Its objective is to take the whole of Nigeria, not some of Nigeria. Now, it's going to use Islam and the Sharia to take Nigeria. All over the world, its tactics are different.
Who is trying to take Nigeria?
Now, let me put it for you like this. The architecture for the intelligence
Everyone,
behind this
welcome.
thing is more than the local intelligence. But they have contacted local actors. You see, there's what they call the ISWAP. The Fulani is there. Then you have the Kanuri-dominated Boko Haram. Then you have Lakurawa, Ansaru, and all those other offshoots of the global template provided by Al-Qaeda. Many headed, only one heart. And what the idea is to take Nigeria, take West Africa, take the rest of Africa, you know, and then use that resources to dominate the world.
Okay, so it's Al-Qaeda that is trying to take over Nigeria through these different terrorist organizations.
An intelligence created by Al-Qaeda between 1991 and 1996, Osama bin Laden was in Sudan, perfecting the model of how to globalize terrorism and rule the world with Sharia. And he knew they would have to kill Muslims as well. So what we're dealing with is bigger than just a religious problem. It's a supremacist agenda covering its face with Islamic religion.
So for people that may be watching right now, some of them will say, we've been hearing about things like this for a long time. Where is the actual evidence? Like what you said bin Laden drafted in Sudan. Is there a record of it somewhere? Like some people would say, where is the evidence to the things that you're saying?
Okay, one of the greatest weaknesses of the African nations of the world, including Nigeria, is the inability to mathematize inquiry.
Okay.
That is to collect statistics and data, crunch it, and then do what they call concatenation. That is to join all the dots and use that to come to a conclusion and predict things that when they happen, you will not be surprised. If you follow the media in Nigeria over the past 20-something years, there's nothing I have said beforehand that did not come to pass, including when the color of the terrorist, the color skin of the terrorist is going to change in the latter hours, when they are bringing in people from the Maghreb and they're bringing in...
Okay, I am going to drop the video and bring it up again because it's not moving, it's not playing smoothly. I think because I'm going back and forth, the video seems to have been corrupt. I noticed that the mouth is not moving together with the voice, which if I'm watching people's video and see that kind of thing, it always makes me sick. I don't feel comfortable seeing that happening to me. Let me look for that video again and bring it up. Maybe it's gonna help. I want it to play normally, and maybe I will not. I will limit my activities because I think the way I'm clicking on other things must have affected it. So just a side percent. Let me search for it. I have it somewhere here. Okay, there we go.
President of Nigeria,
a
supremacist agenda that was perfected by Osama bin Laden
when
he globalized the global resurgence of religious terrorism. This is not merely a Fulani problem. It's bigger than that. There are at least about 5-6 groups that we are reckoning with. It has a head in education. It has infiltrated our security defense systems. Over the years, it has infiltrated governance. It has infiltrated media.
Okay, so thank you so much, Daddy. But I feel like so far you have been speaking in parables. You are not naming. Okay, so you said 5 different heads. You need to put names. Also, you need to give the evidence of all these things that you are saying.
I told you it's a supremacist agenda that was designed to use Islam as a cover. That's why for the first 15, 16 years, it was targeted only at Christians first. I told publicly that in the later years, towards the end, when they're about to strike Nigeria completely, they will start killing Muslims as well. So I said that about 10 years ago. You are dealing with something that is global, but has a local face. Its objective is to take the whole of Nigeria, not some of Nigeria. Now, it's going to use Islam and the Sharia to take Nigeria. All over the world, its tactics are different.
Who is trying to take Nigeria?
Now, let me put it for you like this. The architecture for the intelligence behind this thing is more than the local intelligence. But they have contacted local actors. You see, there's what they call the ISWAP. The Fulani is there. Then you have the Kanuri-dominated Boko Haram. Then you have Lakurawa, Ansaru, and all those other offshoots of the global template provided by Al-Qaeda. Many headed, only one heart. And what the idea is to take Nigeria, take West Africa, take the rest of Africa, and then use that resources to dominate the world.
Okay, so it's Al-Qaeda that is trying to take over Nigeria through these different terrorist organizations.
An intelligence created by Al-Qaeda between 1991 and 1996, Osama bin Laden was in Sudan, perfecting the model of how to globalize terrorism and rule the world with Sharia. And he knew they would have to kill Muslims as well. So what we're dealing with is bigger than just a religious problem. It's a supremacist agenda covering its face with Islamic religion.
So for people that may be watching right now, some of them will say we've been hearing about things like this for a long time. Where is the actual evidence? Like what you said bin Laden drafted in Sudan. Is there a record of it somewhere? Like some people would say, where is the evidence to the things that you're saying?
Okay, one of the greatest weaknesses of the African nations of the world, including Nigeria, is the inability to mathematize inquiry. That is to collect statistics and data, crunch it, and then do what they call concatenation. That is to join all the dots and use that to come to a conclusion and predict things that when they happen, you will not be surprised. If you follow the media in Nigeria over the past 20-something years, there's nothing I have said beforehand that did not come to pass, including when the color of the terrorist, the color skin of the terrorist is going to change in the latter hours, when they are bringing in people from the Maghreb and they're bringing in other people from outside of our borders. So if you want evidence, I will give you some. Number one, let me give you something very simple.
And what he just said now is spot on. You know why I say that is spot on? Because we are now seeing foreigners adding their voices, visiting, hosting a program, Islamic lecture in Nigeria today. We are now seeing foreigners. What do I mean by foreigners? I'm talking about Arabic people from Arab world. Okay, there's one video that I played it even yesterday, and our broadcast, I played it as well. That video, everybody that actually care about Africa, or like, even if you are not a Biafran, you should be concerned about that video. I asked where the video people. We just guess. We are not sure of we're not sure of where those people, where they come from. Some say that because we concluded that they are Yorubas, but there's no substantial evidence to back it up. There's no proof whatsoever. I'm looking for that video as we speak. Let me that video, I have it here on my wall, where an Arab man was converting the whole village. We don't these are new things, to be honest. We don't get to see this kind of thing before. But all of a sudden, it appeared to be normal. And Nigerians, or those who claim that everything is all right, they are not asking questions. In fact, they don't feel bothered as long as it's not in their community. Even if it's in their community, they say it's just only one time. Giving excuses for this kind of effort to strive. The question is, how long are you going to do that? For how long are you going to, keep quiet or pretend or just act as if it doesn't really matter when you know that it obviously matters? It matters a lot. Just a moment, let me bring that video up, because now that he's talking about the link up, or maybe the collaboration from other people that their skins are different, the skin are different from ours. That in alone, you cannot see it. So maybe, I don't know when he made the prediction, but it is now playing before us. It is not playing before us. Nobody knows what the future holds, but I mean, we all need to take precaution, because today it could be in the West. How sure are you that it's not going to happen in the East? Maybe it's happening in the East. How sure are you that it's not going to happen in the West? If you see evil, call it out, because everything is not going, things are not going well, to be honest with you. I don't know if I still have this video here. Why is it not? I believe it's not all that far, but I have been searching and searching and searching. I couldn't see it anymore. I used it earlier today. Did I remove it after that? I don't think I did. Why is it so difficult for me to bring it up now? Why is it so difficult? Wow. Okay. Okay. This one is different from what I wanted. Now, in case, let me just use this one. Let me just bring this one for you to see. Now, before we continue. Okay, before we continue. Just a moment. This man you're about to see now is the one that invited N9jeria to come and deliver lecture. And he is one of those that even Saudi Arabia banned from entering their country. Now, because of his mindset, because of his teachings. So even Saudi don't want such teachings. It's me and you that have never for once be Islam or be Muslim. That all of a sudden now we think that we actually can just relate. No, you can't. You can't, because the mindset is totally different. Now hear the man, so that you understand what I'm talking about. Hear him.
When Muslims go and conquer the adjacent country, what do? We kill them all? No. The Prophet says, the first thing you do is call them to Islam. If they refuse, then tell them Allah obliged upon you to pay taxation. In return, when enemy comes and attack your country, you don't fight. We Muslims protect you. SubhanAllah, for this little money? Yes. And you enjoy sitting in your homes and in your country and live your life normally. But the ruling is for Sharia. So you do not open nightclubs, you do not fornicate. If they refuse, then we have to fight. And if we fight you, then we capture you, you become our slaves, and we take your land, and you take because you refuse. I give you two good options in the coming 40, 50 years when the Muslims become strong as they're supposed to be.
This might be funny. You see how he's actually trying to justify this? That we gave you two good options. Did you get to hear that two options? One is that you have to convert to Islam. If you refuse, then you pay us tax. Okay? While paying us tax, you are living under Sharia law. That means you cannot go to club, you cannot fornicate. All right? If enemy come to attack you, we protect you. But if you refuse in these two options, remember the first one is for you to become like us. If you don't want to become like us, then you have to live like us. So what is the difference between living like us and coming like us? Coming with us and living like us. What is the difference? If I become Islam, of course I will live under Sharia law. If I don't come, if I refuse to become a Muslim, of course I will have to live under Sharia law. That's what they're saying. Then if you refuse, they will not fight you. You know what he said? That is beheading. And once they do that, they will not take your land, take everything from you. Because they give you two good options, and you refuse. Because that one of these two good options is to become like us, okay, to convert. So if you convert, okay, no problem. But if you fail to convert, okay, no problem. We're not going to force you, but you have to live under our command, under our instructions. We are the one to tell you what to do. Of course, that means practically you are a Muslim, okay? Practically you're a Muslim, and you cannot do anything about it. I wish to know where this man comes from. He looks like an Indonesian man, but I don't think he is. I would like to know where he comes from. The same way Sh0cking was blocked from entering Saudi Arabia. The same way this man himself was blocked as well. Do you understand? It's exactly my brother Obi-Wan said, can you see their mindset? That is it. So when this man here when he talked about foreigners, the skin color of, you used to see Fulani as a terrorist in the Boko. Very soon the skin will change. The skin color will change. Arab world will be the one. And they're the ones spending the whole lot of money now. Of course, with Nigerian government carrying out some of the logistics for them and protecting and preserving them. Because that's what it is. You can't do anything. They have conquered
The war that has responded to
that government, the government that you expected to be your last hope. They have conquered it. They're just waiting. Just like somebody who dig a very big hole, okay, and just put some plank on top of that hole, weak plank for that matter, and design it as if that plank that is just a normal ground. Once you step in, you will now fall inside the hole. That's exactly what they're doing, and people are falling into that nonsense. Anyway,
Nigeria is the inability to mathematize inquiry. That is to collect statistics and data, crunch it, and then do what they call concatenation. That is to join all the dots and use that to come to a conclusion and predict things that when they happen, you will not be surprised. If you follow the media in Nigeria over the past 20-something years, there's nothing I have said beforehand that did not come to pass, including when the color of the terrorist, the color skin of the terrorist is going to change in the latter hours, when they are bringing
that the color of this terrorist is going to change in later, and it's not playing it before you. And some people are still making argument, some are still arguing, oh, it's like that, it should be like this, it should be like that. It is shocking. Very, very, very shocking. And when you pay close attention to all those things, you find out that those who should know better are not even doing anything. If you expose them more, they will cover your head. I'm surprised that this one is still moving. Maybe they have not remembered him, or maybe they see him that he doesn't command them much. Because once you talk like this in the system, you are looking for a problem. That is not the fact. You are looking for problem.
People from the Maghreb, and they're bringing in other people from outside of our borders. So if you want evidence, I will give you some. Number one, let me give you something very simple. There's no place in the world that has responded to an already documented resurgence of global Islamism by claiming to arrest terrorists, and then you claim that you have de-radicalized them, and then you absorb them into the Nigerian army. You see, that one alone is an amazing case of stupidity. I've never heard of this kind of madness before. An armed robber comes to your house, you arrest him. Instead of prosecuting him, you claim that you have changed his mind, and you now make him join your megadis. That is, of course, one. Number two, if we collate, I can tell you from the beginning, one of the things I discovered from the year 1999 to 2000 was government complicity. And why do I say so? We have reached a stage now where we are not afraid of anything anymore. In those days, we were more afraid of the enemy within than the enemy without. So today, there can be documents that I will give you, we'll put on display. When you find,
in case if you don't know, what is one of the things that he said now? During your welcome, I see you. Greetings to you. Nice to have you. One of the things that he said now that I want you to capture, just let me take it back again. I'll just put your ear so you can hear it for yourself. Watch.
Never heard of this kind of madness before. An armed robber comes to your house, you arrest him. Instead of prosecuting him, you claim that you have changed his mind, and you now make him join your megadis. That is, of course, one. Number two.
Before number two, now, you see, if government of Nigeria did that as a like the first attempt, they recruited Ndibuku. Okay, they are now repented. They are repented. According to them, if that is the idea they want to run with, it should have been the thing of one time, like they did it once. But you see, every now and then they are doing it back to back. It is a deliberate act, well planned, well structured, to execute what I don't know. One secret agenda that all of them know is aware of it. And you who know nothing about it, you don't practice the same religion with the government, you are not even having the same mindset with them. You really want to jump on social media. No, don't government. Our government is trying. Our government, hey God. Our government is trying. He's doing this, he's doing that. Somebody told me that if somebody's 419 him once, okay, and he fought for that and lost his lost amount of money, and if he do the same thing again, that means that from that second time is when people should start calling him stupid. But you see that first one, anybody can fall to that. I was like, this is true. So if government recruit them and say, oh, we captured them and we let us now train them for 6 months and they're not Nigerian army. And after doing that, then, because the government have intel, right? I tell them they don't receive intelligence information about how these people are ambushing them and by people. Just take a look at the story of the general that died a few days ago. He has already escaped. He has already escaped them and was hiding somewhere that bandits or terrorists are not supposed to aware. They're not supposed to know those locations. Then he now communicated with, he now chat with some people outside for rescue team to come and pick him up. Then bandits from there, bandits now know his location. Now let me ask you, what method or what is the reason behind it that this general, according to them, is somewhere waiting for rescue team like a jet to land there and pick him up, copter. And Fulani bandit was able to track, because for copter to come, have to reveal your location. The man revealed his location to them. Next thing we are hearing is the bandits have now surrendered that place where he was and captured him alive. So the question is, who revealed the place to them? This is not my concern. Now, what I'm saying that for you to know that the government, for you to see when people talk about the government, that they are accomplice to this, you cannot relate. You cannot see the evidence to that. Let's continue.
If we collate, I can tell you from the beginning, one of the things I discovered from the year 1999 to 2000 was government complicity. And why do I say so? We have reached a stage now where we are not afraid of anything anymore. In those days, we were more afraid of the enemy within than the enemy without. So today, there can be documents that I will give you, we'll put on display. When you find out that young girls are kidnapped, married off, taken away from their husbands, I mean, sometimes young girls are kidnapped, sometimes wives are kidnapped, married off Islamically, and you will see that a summons will come. The governors were aware. I can give you a case where we had to curb a terrorist attack in Kaduna State. We could tell you the modus operandi. It started with Gumi when he came back from Mecca, when he came back from Saudi Arabia. His first tafsir in Kaduna was a call to violence, to slaughter. The VHS came to me because we have been setting up early warning systems, and this is what a real early warning system is to prevent something. When we got it, we translated it into English, and at that time it was Obasanjo who was the president of Nigeria. Thank God for the Foursquare General Overseer, who is now late, Wilson Badijo, who assured me that what we prepared and gave to him was given to Obasanjo in his bedroom. But what they didn't know was that we were still monitoring Kaduna to see whether the arms build-up towards the execution was going to stop. When we saw that it was not going to stop, in fact, this is a good example I'm giving you. I had to call a special strategic session with media, because media is a force expander in this new war form, this Hydra-headed war form. At that time, the man they call Additional, who became Buhari's media, whatever, was at that time an editor-in-chief or something in one of the newspapers. They gathered together, and I told them, this is the problem. They are about to kill 600 to 900 people. Femi Additional. They are about to kill 600 to 900 people in Kaduna. And I said to them, we have sent all the information to the army, to all the places. There's nobody stopping them. Unknown to them, we were monitoring. The Gumi boy went into the SSS office in Kaduna laughing and came out laughing. When I got that report in Lagos, we decided to call this media meeting and said, look, how do we solve this? Now, there's a headline that we had to put up where they did as if they interviewed the head of CAN and had to interview Gumi. Immediately, we took the front pages, the full pages in the newspapers and the new media, and the news blew across the world. The queries came to the president of Nigeria. It was reported to me directly that the Gumi boy entered, then it was a small, he entered the SSS office. This time he didn't come out laughing. He left the country immediately. Now, this is a guy who has been banned by Saudi Arabia. They didn't allow him to enter Saudi Arabia. Let me give you another proof. I was on television when I found out there was no other way of escape. When an Al-Qaeda operative was already appointed as a federal minister in Buhari's government. And I questioned.
Do you mind naming that minister?
What's his name? Something Issa Pantami. How do I know? I supervised an evacuation in 2004 when a young Christian was slaughtered in the mosque of ATB. That's from Tafawa Balewa University. Okay? Now, when we supervised that, it was this Pantami who was a lecturer in that university at that time, who put a fatwa on certain students because they preached the gospel to Muslims in a university. And at that time, when they killed that boy, we had to go and evacuate the others whose names I spoke to them recently. They are still afraid till now. The young guys brought them into Lagos. We made arrangements to take them into other countries where there's better respect for human worth. And then Sunday Achi was the name of the student who was murdered. Okay? At that time, for you to know how this thing works, there was a bishop who was working with the Obasanjo government who went to arrange for the burial of this boy. And when I said, let us make it an issue, they at that time were cooperating because they didn't realize how dangerous this Hydra is. Later, that Hydra attacked that bishop, almost killed him, finished his secretary. Fortunately, they couldn't catch his wife. They maimed him. And today, he's one of the forefront advocates who has realized how dangerous this thing is. I could easily give you many more examples. One of the former head of state who was claiming that there was not
You can see that this man knows he knows a lot. He knows a lot about what is going on, and people don't understand it when people cry out and say, wow, this country is finished. Why? Look at this man here. Okay, I don't know why the notification is blocking it. I don't just understand. Why is it blocking it? I don't know. I wanted to show you the man that claimed that he is the one that formed Boko Haram in the first place. Okay, that man. Just a moment, because notification just blocked what I wanted to share with you. I wanted to see the face of the man because many of you don't know that man is somebody sheriff, and he's moving freely. Nobody is questioning him, nothing whatsoever. Despite all the number of the people have called him out, and they don't care. They don't care. He said that they are pampering him, which is normal thing for them. This is the man here. They called him Shetima. Okay, it is not me. It is Shetima who created Boko Haram. Both of them have been accused. I don't know who to believe. Do you understand? I don't know, to be honest with you. But this face you are seeing here, people say that he's the one that created Boko Haram, and he's here, debunking it. It is not me. It is Shetima, which is the current vice president of Nigeria, that created Boko Haram. And the Shetima is the one that has the audio that was leaked. This is to tell you the mind of these people, their mindset, and what they can offer. The target is on the people. They don't do any other thing than to go against or to go after genuine and sensible people. That is their target.
In his home in Ota. When he gave me his own version.
Don't worry, we are coming back to that. The version you are talking about. I actually want to make sure that I get this done. But before then, let me go back. Why listen to this man? Okay, let's continue. Listen to this man.
Of what he believed was going on. I said to him, sir, during your government, they were already building up more and more, infiltrating more and more. I said, do you remember a meeting you went to have in Northern Nigeria when these things happened? When you left, they slaughtered every member of the family that entertained you.
Okay.
I said they were sending you a warning to back.
Yes,
who went to arrange for the burial of
Makande Namo, the kind of ordered and they commanded and they bad people and they commit this and this and this and that. I hope you guys are listening.
This point. And when I said, let us make it an issue, they at that time were cooperating because they didn't realize how dangerous this Hydra is. Later, that Hydra attacked that bishop, almost killed him, finished his secretary. Fortunately, they couldn't catch his wife. They maimed him. And today, he's one of the forefront advocates who has realized how dangerous this thing is. I could easily give you many more examples. One of the former head of state who was claiming that there was nothing in his time, I was at a meeting with him in his home in Ota. When he gave me his own version of what he believed was going on, I said to him, sir, during your government, they were already building up more and more, infiltrating more and more. I said, do you remember a meeting you went to have in Northern Nigeria when these things happened? When you left, they slaughtered every member of the family that entertained you. I said they were sending you a warning to back off.
Did you hear that?
Now, some years later, he went for a security meeting outside Nigeria. And I think when they showed him the build-up of what is coming into Nigeria when the final phase comes. Look, the Nigerian army in totality, everybody knows what the number is. The last time they engaged the BH on 3 war fronts, it took almost 2.5 weeks to overcome. So everybody realizes that if you think the Nigerian army can withstand a combined forces of what ISWAP has planned in the future, what is working for us right now is very simple. Nigeria is 220 million people strong. The number of all these people who want to swallow Nigeria, they are not even up to 450,000. Now, the strength of this is, let me break one nonsense that is going all around. And this is what we have to be careful to counsel the US government about. Anybody who looks and thinks that the Fulani is a primary problem is a joker. The Fulani is not the primary problem. All the combined forces of all these people is not up to 400 and something million. Now, is it this ill-educated?
400 and something thousand.
Yes. All these ill-educated, all these, what can I say, anachronistic human beings who are wearing loincloth all over the whole place, do you think that they are the real problem? Listen, the Fulanis have told you that they were busy using their six when people came and gave them AK-47s and took their children to go and train. Why don't we realize that it's the intelligence that is arranging logistics, that is arranging safe passage for them? I have boys in the army. We used to pray for them. When they locate the enemy position in the Nigerian army, a signal comes from Abuja that they should not attack.
Okay.
The signal will be delayed. After 3 hours, they tell them, now go. The Boko Haram will have left that place.
So
what more proof
are
do we
you
need?
saying that the Nigerian government is
goodness.
involved in what is
What are you saying?
happening?
Even Jonathan, before he left, openly said they are in my cabinet.
Okay.
Look, this thing has been known to collapse nations from within. So there's nothing new about what is going on in Nigeria. It's just like the architecture of thought. I would rather speak to the younger generation, the digital generation who understand programming. Because it looks as if the older generation don't have what it takes, don't have the understanding to acknowledge that there's a problem here.
Okay.
And let us come squarely. My eyes are on the president of Nigeria. He needs to be careful. Yes. Listen to me. I have nothing against him personally, but I can tell you something that is very, very clear to anybody. Now, he is an astute, consummate politician, but he doesn't realize that there's a global problem that he's dealing with. In order to become the president of Nigeria, nobody can argue there were deals that went on. And in essence, what he did was that he, more than anybody else, realized that there are many factors to the Hydra. In terms of the kinetics, apart from the Fulani, the Boko Haram, the ISWAP controlled, Ansar, Lakurawa and Co. And what he did was to play them against each other so that
You
he
are
could get a seat
alleging
in the
that
presidency.
President Tinubu had a deal with the terrorists?
Excuse me, whether we like it or not, it is no longer a secret anywhere in the world. That
so, but what's the evidence? Some people will say that.
Okay, let me give you talk. Let me just give you let me throw you one quickly.
Okay.
People don't realize that the Mandela bombing in Niger State, the Catholic church that was bombed in Niger State,
please listen here.
Who headed it actually was in Lagos, in Snake Island, 2 days, 3 days, and then traveled to northern Nigeria to take his team to execute. What does that tell you? Now, when he got into police custody, he was arrested and he miraculously escaped. When he escaped miraculously, where was he arrested? Where did he take up refuge? He took up refuge in the lodge of a serving high-placed government official from Borno State, who happens to now be who? The vice president of Nigeria. So what am I talking about here? Tinubu is one heartbeat away. You see, I feel sorry for him. In a way, we need to protect President Tinubu's life. He may think he has the guts to face these people, but I can tell you something, he has totally misread the size of the problem in which he has gone to double his hands.
Okay, these so you said a lot of things. These are serious allegations.
Please, don't even bother. I'm the one talking. We are, listen,
yes.
We are the circumcision. We worship God in the spirit. We rejoice in Christ Jesus and we have no confidence in the flesh. I'm a statesman. We worry about the generations to come. I'm not worried about the next election. There's nothing I'm saying that cannot be substantiated, not only within Nigeria, but globally. So let nobody deceive themselves.
You can see the confidence in his words. Because when you know something that other people don't know, there's no need for you to panic. You can see the confidence in what he's saying. Even when Nigeria is trying to create fear in him, he was like, no, I'm sure what I'm saying. Quote me, when the man tells you, quote me anywhere. Did you hear this story of somebody that is staying in Lagos and went to North to carry out attack and come back, no problem? And when they want to arrest the other guy, rearrest him. They find him where? Chetima's house. All this thing is something that you don't need to ask where is the problem is coming from. And these are the same people, the same system, the same government trying to take the Amazon mechanic is the problem. That it serves him well. And you are the good person, you are somewhere. And it's okay. You know, Igbo people want us to be pampering them. They say iberibe ọjọọ na-enwere kapọfụ sense. Zero sense. Zero sense. In fact, this thing is not is somehow irritating, to be honest with you.
So look, why do you think the federal government is trying to deny an evident truth? And all these people who have collected 30 pieces of silver, all these people speaking from two sides of the mouth, who are just shifting positions like the mendacious president that we have, why do you think they are going on like that? Because there's a plan. If this intervention had not come and the president was allowed to go through his 8 years, who would he hand over the country to? And does he think they are not wise enough to know that if they are able to eliminate him, into whose hand does the country go? Now, this is where the problem is. If the country goes into the hand of the Boko Haram, the Fulani will not be happy. Those who are, look, let me give you a good example, an open secret. When Sh0cking became
Are you saying that the country will go into the hand of Boko Haram after Tinubu?
Please, if you remember very well, just after he came in, there was some kidnappings, some bombings, and then there was an outrageous demand for one impossible, I can't remember, was it 20 billion or something, impossible amount of money. When that demand was made, it was not really because they felt that kind of money will be paid. It was a direct message, a coded message to the presidency. Everybody is aware now that there was complicity in the times of in terms of the former president Muhammad Buhari. Like I mentioned Issa Pantami. Also, don't forget about that his interesting governor who turned against Buhari in the last minute, who was persuaded to turn against Buhari, the worst governor Kaduna State has ever had. And I said something when Kaduna State was
Governor El-Rufai.
Yes. Look, let's not even go there. Go and look at his tweets in the earlier years. Go and look at his own open admission on television that he left Nigeria to neighboring countries with money to go and sponsor the terrorists who had come to kill in Nigerian territory. Why did they have that kind of confidence then? Was because they knew they had entered governance. Now, as I'm speaking right now, listen, we need to reformat this country. And there's an opportunity that has come right now that if we mismanage this opportunity, let me tell you something, even God in heaven will look away when in the south part of Nigeria, in the eastern part of Nigeria, 13-year-old girls end up being raped. Look, there was a blogger recently who was being political, and I want to tell everybody prophetically right now what is coming up for those who refuse to face truth, those who refuse to give value to the lives of others. A young blogger recently said that there's no genocide, I'm a Christian, I don't feel threatened, long live P-Bat. She was one of those who was killed, if the account that is coming is right, in Kwara State in a church attack. Oh, she thought it was far away. Now, this is the fate, sadly, of those who live in
by opportunity, you're talking about Trump saying that he would interfere with what is happening in Nigeria.
Well, I prefer the word intervention, and let me put it for you like this. For any godly-minded person, the declaration of Nigeria as a country, a CPC, that designation, yes, that designation is a human designation. What we should worry about is that God in heaven himself had already declared Nigeria as a country of particular concern.
In case you are doubting, hear what this guy said here. If you're any guy, I have played this video before, but for doubting Thomases, hear it from the horse's mouth. What this guy said here.
Understand one thing about the European. You see, European people, Fulani people are not part of Nigeria. They are Nigeria. When you hear Nigeria, it's Fulani people. You understand? You are part of Nigeria. then it means that you are part of Fulani. The largest empire before the arrival of the European in that region, it was the Sh0cking Caliphate, the most organized empire, the most powerful empire in that region. It was the Sh0cking Caliphate. The Sh0cking Caliphate is a Fulani Caliphate. It's a Fulani empire. You understand? So Fulani are not part of Nigeria. Nigeria is a European, how to call it, fabrication. When they fabricated Nigeria, they put back Fulani people in charge. You understand? Because you have to understand one thing about the European. You see, European people, they are very intelligent. The European people, they respect the men who stand in front of them and tell them, go fuck yourself. The European respect those kind of men. The European, they only respect the men who are capable of standing in front of them and tell them, fuck off. I don't give a fuck about you. They respect you. If you are a man who you know that they can tell you, sit down, you sit, get up, you get up, to go, you go. They don't give a fuck about you because they know you are nothing but a piece of shit. But the European, they respect the Fulani. Still now, when you go to France, they respect us. In United Kingdom, the moment you tell them you are Fulani, they respect you because they know which kind of human being you are.
Do you hear that? Being tough and speak tough. That's the Fulani man for you. You know, what if you are doubting, ask yourself this question. He said that Fulanis are not part of Nigeria. That Fulanis are the Nigeria. You that is talking, they just managed to give you a seat to sit. And somebody is somewhere trying to argue what I don't know.
Prophecy, Nigeria is supposed to be the trigger of a global move of revival. Then the other side too decided that Nigeria must become the epicenter of the next greatest satanic attack against the entire world. So the destiny of Nigeria is what we're fighting for. Look, the corruption in Nigeria, I gave an interview when President Tinubu entered, and I did remember saying that it would not be an honor for anybody to serve in this dispensation. After the negotiation, he bought. Look, the mantra of this government is this: whatever problem money cannot solve will be solved by more money. Not realizing that there's a hyper-dimensional problem, a problem bigger than money. Look, let me tell you something, the mistake that he's making. The whole Nigerian budget, when you look at it every year, all said and done, comes to how much? Maybe about $30 billion. How much does the diaspora remit to Nigeria every year?
$20 billion. Yes,
so,
sir.
When you hear Nigerians, you see, when poverty has been weaponized against a nation, people cannot think anymore. The older generation have been reduced by the weaponization of poverty. So, look, thinking is an expensive thing. So, it's not easy. Don't blame the average Nigerian.
Okay.
People are susceptible to money.
So, Daddy, before we round up, you've said a lot of things. Are these things that you can defend, like the allegations of the president,
in my sleep,
the vice president being part of, the Boko Haram?
In whose house was Kabiru Sokoto? In whose home was Kabiru Sokoto hiding before it was picked up? Please, if not for global interference in Nigerian affairs, we are ready 90-something% to the day of doom. So if we like, let us miss this opportunity. All those talking from the same different sides of the mouth, they will soon know what it is that we are dealing with.
Exactly what do you want the US to do?
Very simple. There are 4 sets of people who are talking to us in the US. Number 1, those who are genuinely concerned. Okay. Right? Number 2, we have those who are looking for government appointments.
Okay.
Number 3.
In the US, looking for government appointments in Nigeria.
Looking for government appointments in the US. They are careerists.
Trump's administration.
Then there are those who know that money, US dollars, follows policy. So if not for Trump, they will not be speaking up. They are there. And then there's a last set of zealots who are so zealous that they reject God's wisdom. Those ones are what we call sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. They are equally as dangerous. So this is what I want us to do. If Nigeria cooperates properly with the window that God has used Trump to open, there's something that I cannot talk about in detail now. It's called the flight of 2 eagles. There's a bald eagle in that vision that can rescue the green eagle. Now, if we are able to eliminate the unnecessary voices that are fouling the waters, in America for us, both within those against us and those for us, and remain only the voices that are looking forward to the future of Nigeria. Let me tell you what will come out of it. Number one, Nigeria will become a nation. Watch this, where the value of life will be something else. We will leap from quantum leap to the forefront of global civilization, all within 4 to 8 years. Number two, the Nigerian foreign exchange right now that is about 1,600 naira to the dollar can be brought down to at least 1 to 250 to 350 naira to the dollar if we cooperate properly with understanding to tailor the American response in a way that will be profitable to the global community.
So, have you discussed any of this with the Nigerian government? Have you presented
A government that is busy denying? Listen, the moment the Nigerian government is ready, even for President Tinubu, there's a way of escape for him. I fear for his life. If you do a proper concatenation and look at the analysis of what's on the table and the way these things are going, he can't trust anybody around him because there's an option open to them, which he's aware of. Okay? But Nigeria cannot afford that option.
what's the option?
Well, the point is this. If he cooperates with us, we have been studying this thing, we have been watching over this, we will create a Nigeria where no Muslim, no Christian is oppressed. Now, let me tell you this. When the generation of Awolowo and Zik and Co., when they got independence from Nigeria, Pax Britannica did not allow us to lay a firm foundation for a prosperous country. The divide and rule included religion. Now, this opportunistic hydra created by Osama bin Laden is using that opportunity. Now, if only Tinubu will cooperate, I will tell him that the first friend of Nigeria in America, first of all, in the olden days, was a man called Frank Wolf. Next is Chris Smith, Congressman Chris Smith. After him, we want to thank people like Louis Gohmert. We want to thank people like Ted Budd, Peter Ricketts. We want to thank people like Josh Hawley. We want to thank people like James Langford, then Ted Cruz. But most of all, this is better than any Nobel Peace Prize. We need to thank God for the two tweets that Donald Trump. They are prophetic.
So, but
they are
since
powerful.
Trump said that he was going to get involved, the killing has actually gotten worse, and the government is not doing anything really. The young
Well,
government is not doing
that
anything.
needed to happen to prove to the Nigerian that the government is so compromised, it does not care about your life. All it cares about is to win the next election, which will be very big, the last election that is really democratic in Nigeria.
This is a lot for people to digest. In the course of this half hour, you have implicated the president, the vice president, the entire cabinet, the military is compromised. A lot of these things, like the military being compromised and so on, people know. You've talked about El Rufai, you've talked about Sheikh Gumi, the minister that you mentioned, Issa Pantami.
Issa Pantami, what does he want to respond? His articles were on the Al-Qaeda website, globally exposed in France, everywhere. All the intel that has been given to Nigeria from foreign nations has been neutralized by the Nigerian government all these years. Who can deny that?
I'm really hoping that the Nigerian government will respond. I'm really hoping that they.
Now, let us talk about Issa Pantami a little bit, all right? Because he's a minister. You see, most of the names that he mentioned and those he don't want to mention, they are currently serving in a very key position in Nigeria, or they have served before. Meaning that during 8 years of Buhari and the few years now of Tinubu and all that, is centered on those people that are suspect. They are the one following the affairs. Do you understand? There's this one called what is the name? I think she shared that one on her ex. That Canada is now looking at him, kind of trying to, ban him or something like that. Now let's move to Issa Pantami. Hear what Issa Pantami, so that you know the mindset of the man called Issa Pantami, or these terrorists, what they do. Just pay attention. Okay, I think he's saying it in Hausa language. Let me see if I can read it out. he said, let's gather all Muslims that are in Yelewa, Shendama, and put them in buses and head to Langatang now. What are we afraid of? What is our fear? Is it not only death? It's a pandemic. Our Islamic teachers must look in this matter vigorously. The committees that was set up with not solve this problem. That the committee that were set up will not solve this problem. Okay. Bringing support of 5 million naira, 10 million naira will not solve the problem because this is humiliation. Let's meet in the town, even if it is by foot. We will go to Langantang if our teachers will not go or they don't have time. I swear to Allah, I will be the commander. Wallahi, they should give me the mandate. I will lead. Let's take everybody back to his house in Yamini, Yalewa, and Shidama. Gakawa. I promise I will lead the troop. I think I missed something there. Just a moment. Troop. I promise I will be the front. I will be in the front. Let me buy if the religion of Allah. Let me buy for the religion of Allah. Let me read it again. I promise I will be in front. Let me buy for the religion of Allah. I agree. Yes, I agree to buy for the religion of Allah. What is life? What is life for? Yeah, but minds. You make up your mind to set yourself ablaze. Like we are here. I want to just a moment, please. Just a moment. I noticed something that is playing on the background, which is very, very wrong. Sorry about that. Let's continue. He said this is a humiliation. No. I think I stopped at troop, where he says he's gonna lead the troop. Okay, what is life for? Let's continue from here. This is humiliation. This is not how the saint lived. Teachers of the Sunnah you are our teachers and our parents. We don't want to go against your wish and what you. Have taught us, okay, what you have taught us, we are tired of humiliation. When they destroyed our mosques in Numan, nobody said anything. People just came for Friday prayer and they met it. He says, graders destroying destroying their mosques in Noma. What are we going to tell Allah? Is it only fasting that Allah needs from us? Are we not going to buy? Are we not going to buy sobbing? Okay. This man you are hearing now is top government official. Imagine a minister like a Rosemary Mechi, maybe the past minister, just come up with any name in the Southeast on the Yoruba land that will be so this emotional because of Christianity. For where? Because their position and their money have already blocked the sense of reason, like religion or anything. No. But imagine somebody who is like this. Is it money? Contact? He has it. He have it, but despite that, he's still preparing, making up his mind to commit ultra. Will make make himself happy and all that. This is a man that somebody is telling you that this man is giving you what the man is known for. And some people don't want to, you are trying to play it down as if it's just a mere talk. Hear him again.
We've gone past that level. Where we are now, all he cares about is to win the next election, which could be very big, the last election that is really democratic in Nigeria.
This is a lot for people to digest. In the course of this half hour, you have implicated the president, the vice president, the entire cabinet, the military is compromised. A lot of these things, like the military being compromised and so on, people know. You've talked about El Rufai, you've talked about Sheikh Gumi, the minister that you mentioned, Issa Pantami.
Issa Pantami, what does he want to respond? His articles were on the Al-Qaeda website, globally exposed in France, everywhere. All the intel that has been given to Nigeria from foreign nations has been neutralized by the Nigerian government all these years. Who can deny that?
Do you understand it? Do you understand it? This same man here, that is Issa Pantami. I think he's one of the. I don't know if he still hold that position, like Nigerian database. He's part of database of Nigeria. We are very in the book. We are name a point and can you for if you think about the Obuka. Hey. Obuka. Anyway, let's continue. Just a moment. Issa Pantami.
I'm really hoping that the Nigerian government will respond. I'm really hoping that they would respond to this.
Please, we have gone past that level. Where we are now is how do we save Nigeria? How do we salvage the nation? How do we create a future for all our children across the entire nation. Don't let the blood of the people who have been slaughtered through the years, past more than 20-something years, we should not let their bloodshed be in vain. Unmerited suffering is often redemptive, and that's the way we should go now.
Thank you so much, Reverend Ladi Peter Thompson, for your time. I truly appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
All right. That is the message that we have for you. And please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are going to draw the curtain close now. All right. To come back later, hopefully. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe in case if you're new. And I know some of us would like to make comments. Obi-Wan, I don't know if you are still here. Are you still here with us? Obi-Wan, are you still here with us? I don't think so. So I'm going to end it here. Please make sure you like the video, like I said. And, of course, subscribe to the channel. Very, very important.
Brother, In